Om Amriteshwariye Namaha. We welcome you to the Friday night Bhakti meet and are happy you are here. My name is Anupama. Please keep yourself muted at all times unless you are speaking. Um, Ananta Shree is going to open the night with some opening prayers and the Dhyayamo chant.
Thank you, Anupama. Om. 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 Jayamo Tavalavakuntanavadim Tejo Mayim Naishtikim Snigdha Pangavilokinim Bhagavadim Mandasmita Shrimukhim Vatsalyamritavarshinim Sumaduram Sankirtanalapinim Shamangim Madhusikta Suktim Amritanandatmikam Ishvarim Om Amriteshwariye Namaha.
We meditate on Mata Amritanandamayi, who is clad with a white garment, who is effulgent, who is ever established in truth, whose glances beam with binding love, who is the seat of the six godly qualities, whose radiant smile adorns her face with auspiciousness, who incessantly showers the nectar of affection, who sings devotional songs most sweetly, whose complexion resembles that of rain clouds, whose words are soaked in honey, who is bliss immortal, and who is the supreme goddess herself. And Abhayada is going to sing the Twameva Mata.
Tvameva Mata cha Pita, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha, Tvameva Vidya Dravina, Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwaryema, Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwaryema. Tvameva sarvam amriteshwaryema.
You are my mother and father. You are my relative and friend. You are my learning and wealth. You are my all, my mother Amriteshwari. We'll now have a moment of silence. We are blessed tonight by Ananta Shree, who will give us satsang.
Thank you, Anupama. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Welcome, everyone. Namah Shivaya. Tonight, I wanted to share some thoughts on the benefits of humor and laughter. Not only the physical and emotional benefits, but the implications of laughter as a spiritual tool for enlightenment. Before I start, I wanted to share an experience I had in 2016 on my first trip to Amritapuri. And it's given me a lot of thought on the healing capabilities of laughter. So, 6 days into my visit, I broke my leg. And I'll tell you my version of events before sharing Amma's version. So on day 2 of my visit, the monsoons were so strong that they whisked the scarf from me, and it landed on a huge tree right outside my building. So for days, I tried to practice detachment as I watched my scarf blowing in the wind. And it felt like it was taunting me, to be really honest. And every time my flatmates and I entered or exited our room, we would wave to my scarf. Um, then one day, on the 6th day, the winds took my scarf next door to the second floor of Amma's mother's home. And it was hanging within reach if one could get to the roof. And there were a lot of plants on the roof, so I know there was roof access. In front of the house, I found a brahmacharini and I asked her if she could retrieve my scarf. And she quickly informed me that there was roof access from the AJ building, from my building, and I could easily get it myself. So yay, off to off to retrieve my scarf. And so from the second floor of my building, I climbed over a small railing and hopped down onto the roof. And the jump was only a few feet, but somehow I didn't stick the landing and I promptly broke my leg. And I'm going to spare you guys the details of how I got off that roof and go skip right to the hospital stay in Kollam. The doctor looked at my x-rays and he told me that he would just need to put in a few screws to get the bones back in place. So this happened on a Thursday afternoon, and during Friday evening beach meditation, Amma gave a whole talk on the girl who thought she could fly from rooftop to rooftop. I wasn't there, of course, but later I was told that Amma couldn't stop laughing, that as she described every detail of my misadventure. And I was told she was crying. She was laughing so hard. It was truly a brutal takedown, and the entire beach was roaring at my expense. So as Amma was gathering herself, I was told, and wiping tears from her eyes, she concluded her talk with, "The bad news is the leg is broken. The good news is the scarf is okay." So our Amma is quite funny. So after a couple of days of waiting in the hospital for surgery, I was informed that Amma asked that I be taken to Ames. And there they told me that the bones were all lined up, no need for surgery. And I finally made it back to Amritapuri to hear about the beach talk by Amma. So many emotions flooded over me. I was first thrilled to have so much of Amma's attention, but then that quickly turned into embarrassment. Actually, a lot of embarrassment and confusion because Amma is pure love and compassion, but this felt kind of shaming. So I later asked Amma why she chose to add insult to injury. And her response was so beautiful. She said, "Ananta Shree, laughter is a very high vibration, and Amma knows that you especially heal through laughter. And Amma got the entire ashram laughing on your behalf." So immediately I knew she was right. I've always used humor to get through tough times. And she knew me, and she knew exactly what I needed to rise above the trauma. What a blessing bestowed. And reflecting on her words, I realized that during my hospital stay, there was very little pain or discomfort and virtually no fear or anxiety. And the bones went from being out of alignment to, at the next hospital, being completely lined up. So Amma's grace in the form of laughter and getting the entire ashram to laugh at me had a mitigating effect, no doubt. She created quite a healing. And since then, Amma's words regarding laughter as a powerful healing force have left me pondering its effects and how we can better utilize humor and laughter to not only heal us physically and emotionally, but how it can be used as a path towards transformation. So many spiritual masters are joyful and always seen laughing. The Dalai Lama is widely known for his infectious laughter, which he famously uses as a tool to disarm fear, neutralize stress. He refers to himself as a professional laugher and believes that humor is a very powerful healing force. And we don't need to look any further than our beloved guru. Rarely do we ever see her without a beaming smile on her face, or how many times have we been privileged to watch her break into uproarious laughter as if she's in on this whole cosmic joke. So, laughter really is, I think, the best medicine, and anyone who has ever given into a great belly laugh can attest to just how good it feels to let go of pretenses and laugh with abandon. And not only does it feel good, but current studies speak to the many physiological benefits, both short-term and long-term. Laughter boosts our immunity by decreasing stress hormones and increasing infection-fighting antibodies and immune cell. It improves our resistance to disease. And laughter also releases endorphins, and these are the antibodies that the feel-good chemicals. Endorphins relieve pain and promote an overall sense of well-being. Laughter also relaxes the whole body. A good laugh relieves pent-up tension and leaves muscles relaxed for up to 45 minutes. Stanford just released some research indicating that laughter has an impact on memory. So as we age, the constant release of cortisol, the stress hormone, can damage an area of the brain responsible for memory. So laughter reduces cortisol levels. And finally, it may actually help us live longer. Norway reported that people with a strong sense of humor outlived their more serious counterparts, notably those battling cancer. Amma has said that 80% of all illness is stress-related, and she says seriousness is a disease, and we should try to leave it and allow ourselves to laugh more. So truly nothing works faster and more dependably to bring our minds and bodies back to balance than a good laugh. And from a psychological stance, humor and laughter are some of the best practices for alleviating our inner burdens. So many people today are struggling with mental health issues, and events in our world can feel consequential and very dire. And these pressures can easily spiral us down into depression and anxiety. Laughter is such a simple method for combating life's difficult situations, disappointments, and losses. The magic of laughter is that a humorous perspective creates psychological distance from the scenarios created by the mind. It halts the spiraling thoughts, and suddenly we're not as mired in the overwhelm of our minds. The moment we can laugh in the face of distressing news, we begin to neutralize the traumatic chain of events, and we disarm the fearful thoughts and worry. I want to share an incident that I witnessed on tour with Amma years ago that exemplifies this. This happened during the Devi Bhava evening, and it was during the Atma Puja, right after the blessed water was handed out. Amma was on her pitam, surrounded by all the children, and suddenly this woman from the back had a mental break, and she just charged the stage screaming. She trampled over all of the kids, frantically trying to get to Amma. And as you can imagine, the entire ballroom was stunned. We didn't know what to do. And Amma lovingly caressed her and finally calmed her down enough for the security team to gently carry her away. And again, the whole ballroom was shaken and concerned as to what would happen next. All eyes were on Amma to see how she would proceed. And as we're watching Amma, suddenly she starts giggling. And that turned into just uncontrollable laughter, belly laughing. And, you could just feel the entire energy of the room lift as everybody started laughing with her. We didn't know what was so funny, but she's laughing, so we start laughing. And when she could finally talk, she said, she pointed out that were all the adults in the room froze in concern and seriousness, the children were completely indifferent to the fiasco. They were the ones that got trampled, and they were the ones closest to all the screaming. But she said they remained relaxed and unconcerned. And the part that Amma found so funny was she said the only thing that concerned them was their water being spilled. They were like just holding on to their water. And she found that hysterical. Um, and it was such a beautiful lesson on the power of laughter to diffuse trauma, because in a matter of minutes, Amma had neutralized everybody's fear and stress and brought the ballroom back up to joy. So, humor is definitely a powerful force that shifts perspectives, and it allows us to see situations in a more realistic, less threatening light. It can ease our turbulent minds and open us to new possibilities and solutions. I think when we're bound by the tight hold of our closed minds, grace can't flow in. But by looking for the funny side of any situation like Amma did, she got us to laugh and relaxed, and then we were kind of more poised to receive her grace. And Amma also pointed at the children's demeanor that evening. They remained undisturbed and happy, positioning themselves to garner all of her attention. So that innocence is within each of us. As children, I've heard that we used to laugh often. Children, on average, laugh 300 to 400 times a day. And as adults, we lose that joyous part of ourselves. Somewhere between childhood and maturity, we let go of the spontaneity and the willingness to be silly. It's easy. Life gets more serious and actions feel more consequential, and laughter thereby fades away. So, interestingly, most adults tend to laugh maybe 10 to 15 times a day, if that, which is just so sad. So, as we grow older, we begin to take ourselves so seriously. We become so hard on ourselves, and we set impossible expectations and self-imposed perfection. And laughter is a great way to find freedom from all of that sense of self-importance. It's psychologically liberating. Learning to laugh at your deepest struggles takes away a great deal of their power. And I've heard Amma advocate the ability to laugh heartedly at our own errors. And through this practice, she says, we let go of our defensiveness and masks, and we can then embrace our imperfections and poke fun at our mistakes. We all do foolish things from time to time, some of us more than others. Learning to laugh at ourselves is such a gift. It's so freeing. And not only does it free us from the grip of the critical mind, but it gives others around us permission to relax and be free too. In relationships, a good sense of humor is essential. Humor can put problems in perspective, and it enables us to move on from confrontations without holding on to bitterness or resentment. Laughter is one of the best ways to diffuse conflict and poke fun at, the sometimes petty stances we tend to hold on to. So, as a mom, one of the best qualities I tried to pass down to my kiddos was a strong sense of humor. I now see in my adult children such resiliency to life's challenges, born out of their ability to turn negativities quickly into a laughable moment. And I always know they're good, they're going to be okay when I hear them reframing their dramas into humorous stories. And I just want to say here, laughter isn't about bypassing emotions. in kind of that Pollyanna way. It's not about locking our hurts and pains away and expecting kind of that sunshiny attitude 24/7. I think acknowledging ourselves as emotional beings and giving our feelings their rightful moment is healthy. We're allowed to be sad, scared, and hurt. But humor is simply a conscious decision to see the situations differently. And as Amma always reminds us, happiness is a choice. She says, whether we smile or cry, life is going to keep passing by, so why not smile? I think we can learn to cultivate a mind that seeks the funny side along with honoring our emotions. Again, I've heard Amma ask us to reflect on the role of humor in our lives, which is kind of important, more than respite from pain and sadness. I think laughter gives us courage and strength to find new sources of meaning and hope. Even in the most difficult times, a good laugh can go a long way to lifting the darkness so that we can then see new possibilities. The Dalai Lama said, if you laugh when you're ill, you feel better. If you laugh in the face of sadness, you transform grief. If you giggle at your own stupidity, you learn wisdom. And he goes on to say, laughter is the ultimate magical power. If you can learn to tap into the power of laughter, you have started on one of the paths to enlightenment. So many spiritual traditions view laughter as more than entertainment. It really can function as a way of loosening and lessening identification with the ego. In fact, Amma has said just that. She refers to laughter as a powerful spiritual tool that loosens the knots of the ego mind. So, our egos, as we all know, are constantly telling a story about who we are, our importance, our grievances, our image, our need to be right, and our attempts to control how life unfolds. But laughter interrupts that process in many ways. One, laughter exposes the limits of our serious mind. The ego thrives on certainty and self-importance. But laughter, when we laugh, when we have a good laugh at ourselves, it collapses kind of the absurdity of our rigid thoughts and views. Second, laughter creates a gap in overthinking. Through deep laughter, the stream of thought temporarily stops. An idea that appears across multiple traditions is that laughter interrupts the constant narrative of the mind, creating a brief experience of presence, connection, and openness. Three, laughter encourages humility. Humor is self-awareness, acknowledging our imperfections without getting trapped in them, is one of the benefits of laughter. And poking fun at the false self is a way of reminding us that we're so much more than our flaws and misgivings. Amma says, by recognizing your faults and laughing at your own ego and external shortcomings, you gradually clear the path to transcend your limited self and uncover your divine self. Laughter also reveals the paradoxical nature of reality. In Zen Buddhism, humor frequently appears alongside profound insight. Paradoxical stories and jokes are designed to disrupt habitual ways of thinking. And have you ever noticed how many of Amma's talks are sprinkled with jokes? She knows exactly how to break through the hard shell of our minds. Let's see, I'm going to jump to this. Amma has said that she views laughter as a connective energy, that when we laugh, our inner and outer beings align, allowing us to connect deeply with both ourselves and all of creation. And I just want to end with, we all know that the spiritual path can be quite daunting. It's called the razor's edge for a good reason. And I think a lot of us have heard Amma jokingly say, if they knew what they were signing up for, nobody would be here. I think that's so true. So, this path requires constant vigilance, so much inner strength and discipline, focus, and discrimination. In every moment, we're carefully monitoring our thoughts, words, and actions. And all the while, Amma is masterfully stripping away our egos and detaching us from the comforts and securities we've built in this material world. So, navigating this path can easily become very serious and feel heavy. Humor and laughter are really helpful companions on this journey. The Dalai Lama says that joy and laughter can actually coexist with deep spiritual practices. And perhaps that's why Amma is always encouraging us to tell jokes and laugh, because I think she knows how challenging this journey is, and more importantly, how crucial a lighthearted attitude can be. So, to conclude, hopefully we can just begin to see that laughter is not only offering benefits physically and psychologically, but it's a powerful spiritual aid that melts away the ego, opens the heart, and reminds us not to walk through life more heavily than necessary. And I just want to end with some precious words from Amma. Amma says, laughter is the music of the soul. So, Om Amrite Shriye Namaha.
Thank you so much, Ananta Shree. And we're going to have a moment of silence now to reflect on Ananta Shree's Satsang. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Recording.
മനസ്സിൽ നീല സരസിൽ ഒരു സരസീരുഹ വിരിഞ്ഞു അഴകിൽ ഭാവനിറവിൽ ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു മനസ്സിൽ നീല സരസിൽ ഒരു സരസീരുഹ വിരിഞ്ഞു അഴകിൽ ഭാവനിറവിൽ ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു അമരത്വ കാന്തി വിടരുന്ന ഞാൻ വരദാന രൂപവദനം അമരത്വ കാന്തി വിടരുന്ന ജ്ഞാന പ്രധാന രൂപവദനം തെളിവൊട്ടു കണ്ടു നിരഭക്തി പൂണ്ടു നനവാർന്നിടു നനയനം തെളിവൊട്ടു കണ്ടു നിരഭക്തി പൂണ്ടു നനവാർന്നിടു നനയനം മനസ്സിൽ നീല സരസിൽ ഒരു സരസീരുഹ വിരിഞ്ഞു അഴകിൽ ഭാവനിറവിൽ ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു അകനെന്നു നീരിയ സിധാരയായ വഴിയത്ര താണ്ടി ഒടുവിൽ അകനെന്നു നീരിയ സിധാരയായി വഴിയത്ര താണ്ടി ഒടുവിൽ അഭിവന്ദരായ ഋഷിവൃന്ദമാത്മമിഴിയാലരൻ പൊരുൾ നീ അഭിവന്ദരായ ഋഷിവൃന്ദമാത്മമിഴിയാലറിന്ന പൊരുൾ നീ മനസ്സിൽ നീല സരസിൽ ഒരു സരസീരുഹ വിരിഞ്ഞു അഴകിൽ ഭാവനിറവിൽ ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു ഒരു സരസി ജാനനം തെളിഞ്ഞു.
So the closing prayer. Om
Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.